It's difficult sometimes to get pictures from a long way away, that we do our best. Right now, let's bring in Michael LaRosa, former chief spokesperson to First Lady Joe Biden and special assistant to former President Biden, and Tiffany Smiley, former Senate candidate and Endeavor PAC founder. So, what antics will the Democrats be up to tonight? A lot of them, 36, say that they're not going to attend. Senator John Fetterman, from your home state, says that's a mistake. Listen here.
I do plan to go to the State of the Union. And then I do hope all the other Democrats that choose to come, that we don't do the same kinds of things that happened at the last year. I mean, it was really undignified. You really should respect the office. The office. You don't have to like the occupant, but respect that. And that's, we should be better than that.
So you don't have to like the president, but respect the office.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Democrats who are choosing not to do that.
And I agree with Senator Fetterman. And you know what? If the Democrats can't control outbursts like last year, then they shouldn't attend, frankly. And look, I did not like when President Biden's State of the Unions were interrupted all 3 years by hecklers, members of the Republican caucus. It was unacceptable. It was juvenile. It was embarrassing. I hated what happened last year, and I don't want to see that again. So I really hope Democrats don't put themselves in a position where we make a spectacle of ourselves.
I take it what you're referring to was this moment from last year when Congressman Al Green got up and was shouting and waving his cane at President Trump. A lot of people, Tiffany, are saying, okay, well, Al Green that, but Joe Wilson in 2009 shouted out, "You lie," to Obama, which is true and lacked decorum. But he called the White House to apologize. He spoke to Rahm Emanuel and said, "I'm sorry about that." Rahm Emanuel said, "Apology received and accepted." I don't think Green called President Trump and said sorry.
No, and that's respectable. I think the Democrat slogan should be, if Donald Trump is for it, we are against it, and we will do anything to make a scene, to show political theatricals and draw attention to ourselves, draw attention away from the American people. They say it's the people's house, but all they are doing is drawing attention to themselves. And quite frankly, the American people are sick of the us versus them, you versus me, and that's what the Democrats are showing. They are completely unserious, they are unhinged, and that's what they are going to show the American people tonight. And I hope that President Trump will be able to cut through the theatrics and show that he is serious and he's there to deliver results. The Democrats are hosting State of the Swamp. They are the swamp, and perhaps you can go and get a picture with the swamp creature while you're at it there. But it's just sad to see how far left the Democrats are going. They would be wise to listen to Fetterman. He may be the last remaining moderate Democrat that can cut through to independence and the American people.
Michael's one of those two.
I'm trying. Working on it.
Got to give him kudos as well. So, just in a broader sense, the Democrats are cranking up the profanity wagon against the president. Juliana Stratton, Lieutenant Governor of Illinois, is running for the Senate. She's got this ad out. Watch this.
"I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed, just like they said."
Trump.
Trump. Trump.
Vote Juliana.
So all the Democrats are out there saying F Trump, right? But not everybody's saying that, because this is Allison Phillips yesterday at the White House. She is the mother of Laken Riley, who the president honored at the White House yesterday morning. Watch her response.
Thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a real American who has experienced untold tragedy.
Yeah,
and she's being respectful and thanking the president.
And there is a warning here for Democrats for tonight. And this president and this White House has done a very good job at boxing in Democrats, in forcing reactions during moments that are meant to be unifying, meant to be gracious and respectful. The White House wants the images of Democrats sitting in their chairs looking dour, refusing to clap, refusing to applaud, refusing to stand up and show respect for the men and women the president is going to honor tonight, whether it is the parents of those victims of murdered children, or it's the USA hockey team. I really hope the Democrats don't take the bait and they do stand up and applaud and root for the country, but root for the honorees tonight that are the president highlights.
Yeah, they didn't do that last year.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it this year, unfortunately. It might be worse. But, you know, with almost 50 of them not in attendance, perhaps that will open up seats for the hockey players.
Unfortunately, they're not allowed to sit on the
I know,
floor.
I know.
Though I'm sure
but wouldn't that
they
be
gladly
wonderful?
would, yeah.
Because the hockey team is the picture of who we are in this country, and that's what Americans want to see more of. True grit, hard work, coming together. Politics aside, we all want America to win. And I think that's what the Republicans will display tonight. And the Democrats have a choice.
The most effective way to contrast ourselves with the president is to come out there and deconstruct and disprove his arguments point by point, effectively and also authentically.
Or you can.
Will Spanberger be able to do that? I don't think it's the right person.
Or
like
you
I'll be
can
in bed
stand
by
up
the
and yell and wave your cane.
Yes. Impeach him.
Good to see you, folks. We anxiously anticipate the speech tonight. Sandra?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.